From abroad come with a lot of money. So people always are expectant, they always look forward to receiving money, a lot of money. But then when they go through the local professionals, then they would control that impression. So there's value for money. So there's still room for medical missions. And there's a challenge for those who say it cannot be done should not interrupt people in it. And then also, building local capacity should be the goal. If there's a medical mission, I think if it's short, then maybe target a local professional for that short period so that you make an impact, and then he in turn can spread it. Now, I able to do corneal transplant. There was an expatriate of someone who's visiting Ghana for just about 3 months. You see, and he concentrated on teaching me how to do cornea. So after he left, I continued. You see, so there's still room for locals. And it's a long term. They can think of how to maybe develop the community itself. But it's a short term, then you can. So this one in hand and both climb together. So I think it's a short presentation, and on this note I say a very big thank you, and we're ready for questions.
Dr. Clarke, I have a question. I have a number of questions. One is that there was just such a growth in the number of surgeries that the Crystal Eye Clinic did between 2010 and 2011.
That's right.
It went up almost 50%,
That's right.
from about 2,000 to almost 3,000.
That's right.
What accounted for that, and how did that feel to you as the director of the clinic? That's an extraordinary growth.
Actually, what happened was that, initially going into a community, because of all the beliefs, people are not sure what you are bringing, and they're a bit hesitant. Mm-hmm. But then when a few people try it and it works, then suddenly, initially we had to go to a community which we identified and then tell them we want to bring eye care. We see the opinion leaders, talk to some key people, and then we start slowly. And they got to a time when communities were approaching us. Oh, can you come to us also? Can you come to us also? So we didn't have to do any more work. So that was when there was a boom. So all of them were coming, and the National Society had adequate funds, so it was open-ended. So all those we saw who needed surgery, we just bring them in and we do it for them. So that was how it happened. So I said, the minimum we did was about 20 a day. The maximum was about 65 in a day. So depending on the communities too that they visit, some communities have a lot of people. And it's amazing. After 11 years, we still go to certain communities and we see cataracts which are so advanced. So I asked myself, where was this person 5 years ago? Because the cataract must have been there for more than 5 years. But you see, it took time for the person to really come forward to be operated upon. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Your corneal transplants, here in the United States we have corneal eye banks.
Yes.
What do you have in Ghana? Do you have to harvest your own, or do you have a central location, or how does that work?
Thank you, that's a good question. Actually, TBI, in fact, actually we link up with TBI, Tissue Bank International, here in the States. So they send us corneas. So our corneas are mostly from the US. Occasionally, on 2 occasions, some people had contacts. One was in Switzerland, the other was another country. So they made their own arrangement and brought the corneas and we did it for them. But the bulk of it is from the US. We don't have any eye bank. Thank you.
So I'm curious, since one of the barriers that you mentioned is this idea that people have that they're cursed, or that this is some way kind of God's punishment when they're suffering with this. Obviously, educating everybody is like a huge undertaking. Are you guys doing anything directly with different spiritual and religious leaders in different parts to kind of help them be able to be on the front lines of educating people about this isn't God punishing you, or like how do you address that with people?
It's actually a good question. We haven't thought of making use of the religious leaders. But maybe something worth considering. We just repeated education, and then during the education talks, we sometimes invite people who have had surgery and are able to see, come and give their story. So when they see these things, then they are convinced that, oh, it's really not. And you know, in Ghana also, there's a culture, people think once you are aging, you should go blind. So very old people who are blind are left alone. See, and they get these children to take them around. But then when some hear the stories, they say, okay, let me go and try. So there was a case of a 90-year-old man who had bilateral cataract, blind. And what people thought it was natural, so they left him alone. But they decided to come and try, and after the surgery, he could see. So word went around the whole village. So people were trooping to his house to go and see whether it's really true that this man who has been blind for many, many years can now see. So such case, for example, they will encourage other people. So I'm beginning to notice now we are seeing a lot of people who have eye problems for many, many years. Some actually, we cannot help them. But the way they come in, I think it's like, let me also go and try. You see, which is very encouraging. At least they are coming out. And that's how come we are seeing people who have been blind for many, many years in the same communities where we go, but are now coming for surgery. But I think it's a good thing. We will probably liaise with the local religious leaders. Yeah, it's a good idea. Thank you very much. See, I've got a new idea. It's possible, and you see, the funny thing is that you see some of these spiritual leaders, these fetish priests, coming for surgery themselves. See, so you can even make use of them to tell people that it's not a case. Yeah. And even another funny thing is that there's something we call couching. I don't know if you have heard of it. It's a local way of treating cataract, where the local people have a very sharp instrument, needle or something very sharp. What they do is they knock the lens into the eye. So you know, once the lens is off, it becomes clear. So you'll be able to see something, though it may not be sharp. So that's the local way of treating cataract in certain remote places. And those who do that, when they have cataract themselves, they come for surgery. You see, but they will do the couching for other people. Yeah. But the good thing is that when we see some of them, we are able to go in and put in a secondary lens implant, and they see better. Some will be lucky when you give the anesthesia and they lie on the table, the lens which has been knocked in will just float to the top. So you can remove it and then put in a secondary lens, and they see, and they are happy. Yeah.
I'm interested in the sort of, you are a specialist, you're an expert in ophthalmology and the science of the eye, and yet you have joined a movement called Global Health, right? Which it sounds very large.
That's right.
And so I wonder how that has felt to you as somebody who is trained in a specialization, but now you're, so you go to a conference on global health and you're encouraging students to form global health societies. Is the concept of global health as a very large umbrella, is that useful, for when you do your work in a very special area of human health? And how do those interact?
Thank you. Very interesting question. Actually, I just did a master's in public health less than 5 years ago, because I wanted to be more effective in the way that I do. I noticed that it had basically been like clinic. You see, but then if you want to really bring eye care, you must have a better system to reach out. And I felt that having a master's in public health will make it easier for me to do that work, you see. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we want to improve quality of life. So the master's program was a link between the specialized work and then the field work. Yeah, and that's how I see it. So it makes me think more broadly. So not just sitting and waiting for the people to come, but how even to encourage them to come.
Yeah.
So that's how.
So how it builds the bridge between your knowledge and your specialization and
Yes.
the people you're trying to serve.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because generally speaking, when you look at health systems, you have the community health worker who maybe sees to basic health care, and then when somebody is sick and he cannot handle, person goes to the next level where there will be a professional, maybe a nurse or somebody. If it cannot be handled, person goes to the tertiary, maybe the teaching hospital, where they do big surgery. So it has always moved that way.
Yeah.
So we always see the specialist as the one at the top there, waiting for this one to come. But then with this system, then we see the specialists also making an effort to go down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is how I see. And actually, so enough aside, we're involved in the activity before I did the master. So it actually motivated me to do the public health. Because the work was already going on. But I asked myself, I want to understand it better, make it better, make it more effective.
Maybe you could tell our group a little bit about how you connected with Unite for Sight
Okay.
and how you came to know this organization.
Yeah. I always use the word divine intervention. I don't know how Enough for Sight came into Ghana, but they were already in Ghana when I met them. And there were a group of volunteers, students from here who were in Ghana, and they were already doing outreaches in communities and identifying those who needed cataract surgery most of the time. And if you've heard of the Mercy ship, it's a ship that travels along the coastal countries here doing eye surgery free of charge to communities. So this ship had docked in Ghana. So the students who were doing the community outreaches were sending the patients to the Mercy ship for surgery. But of course, they don't stay, the ship doesn't stay for too long. So the ship left, and then they identified a local eye clinic where they were sending the patients. And there was no permanent ophthalmologist in this eye clinic. They would invite, whenever there were patients, they would invite somebody to come and do the surgeries for them. And on one such occasion, the doctor couldn't turn up. The patients got stranded. So the manager of that clinic called me, it's about 20 miles away, called me and said they have some stranded patients, will I be willing to help out? You see, and being a private clinic, he was a bit hesitant, because not for private, we get no subvention from anywhere. We have to generate our own funds, pay our own salaries, pay our utility bills and everything. He was a bit hesitant, because how can an NGO approach a private clinic for such service, which I will consider free, because I'm not paid for the work, the surgery I do for Enough for Sight. We itemize the materials we need for the surgery, and Enough for Sight pays for them. We don't pay for the service. You see, but then when he called me, I said, why not? Let them come. So they brought them over to where I was. We did a surgery. And then they asked me, oh, can we continue this cooperation? I said, why not? That's how it all started. That was 11 years ago. Yes, please.
So we talked a little bit about this at lunch, and I think you touched on it a little bit in your presentation, but I was wondering if you could explain, again for the group, the difference that you see between Unite for Sight's work and larger humanitarian organizations that work
That's right.
through international humanitarian work.
For example, in Ghana, we have Sight Savers, we have CBM, and many organizations that are involved in eye care. See, but I suppose maybe because they are large organizations, they definitely need a large office, and large staff, large equipment, and everything. You see, and the money is definitely not. How do I put it? Like, it's not a permanent flow. There are limitations. You see, but when you have such staff and things like that. Of course, their salary is very important. So if you have very little money, you have to make sure that you pay the staff, you maintain the vehicles, pay your rent, everything, to be able to maintain the office. So after doing all this, if you don't have enough money, then what remains for the actual work becomes very little. Okay. But it's a case where Enough for Sight has no country office. So I'm the country director, and my clinic is my office. So they make use of me. They make use of me to coordinate the activities. So all they do is, the money they send is to pay for the optometrists and the nurses who go on the outreach. See, and then the surgeries I do, they don't pay me for the surgeries. They pay for the material that we need for the surgery. You see, but I do it because the clinic, it makes the clinic grow. So when we, for example, 2011 we did 2,900 surgeries. They take care of their medication for about maximum 3 months. So after that, what happens to the people? Whenever they are sick, they find their way to the clinic. And by then, hopefully, they've regained their sight, they are working, they have some income. When they come, they're able to pay for the service. So the overhead costs is very, very little for Enough for Sight, but there's hardly any, because they have a template that we use. They have a sheet on which we record the patients who are coming for the surgery. During the outreach, if they have a laptop, so the data is keyed in, all those who have been seen and those who come for surgery. So before they come for the surgery, they have the data already. So then when they come for the surgery, we also enter those who came for the surgery. Those who can sign will sign, those who cannot sign will thumbprint. So we scan it and then send it over to them. So every month, we use the template to prepare an invoice, maybe 20 cataract surgeries, and then there's the cost. Post-op medication, there's the cost. And then we send it to them, and then they reimburse us. See, the vehicle that is there is for the outreach. It's not for the staff. You see, it's not for maybe the supervisor's use or something. So that's what makes it cost effective. They spend very little money on overhead costs, and then they're able to cover a very wide area. I'm sure when you go to their website, you see their budget. When you see the amount of money that they use annually, the number of people who are seen, you find that it's really great. But for example, Sight Savers is a UK-based organization, and in Ghana we have the West Africa office, and then next door to it is the Ghana office. You see, for the same organization, and they have big offices and located in a very plush area. So I can imagine the amount they are paid for rent alone. And most of these places, the rents are paid in dollars. See, but of course, the status organization inside that, maybe that's where they have to be. You see. So by being there also, they spend a lot of money on other things. At the end of the day, you don't see the impact. See, the 5 partner clinics in Ghana are producing more than 50% of total cataract surgeries in Ghana. You see, meanwhile, the big organizations are supposed to be sponsoring surgeries for the other areas as well. So that's a very big difference, which I find very, very good. Yes, sir.
Glasses, the patients who might need glasses after cataract surgery or don't need cataract surgery but just need a simple prescription. Are those donated to United for Sight, or
Yes.
the laboratories, you know, any connections with large companies, worldwide companies that do that? Or
But that's
where do you get them?
yeah, it's a good question actually. No, the volunteers are encouraged to bring reading glasses. So and those ones, the supermarkets have them. So I'm sure they make appeals and the leftovers are given to them. Those have specific powers on them for reading. But then about 2 years ago, Enough for Sight made contact with a company in China that has been sending us minus glasses, thousands and thousands of them. So then we are giving it to those then who need the minus glasses during the outreach. So it's taken care of. This one needs a more complicated pair of glasses. The person has to come to the clinic for a more detailed test. be cylinders and things like that. But a simple minus classes, -1, -158, -2, -3, we give them out during outreach.
So I just have one more question, and then I promise I won't have any more. But so Unite for Sight has performed almost 2 million eye surgeries, I believe, since it was started by
Yeah.
a student.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, less than 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
And it is built on students joining together, and so how do a group of students end up producing that much good in the world?
Yeah.
What is it that, so the students volunteer, like if we formed a global health society here, students would be able to come and volunteer, but you've talked about the
That's right.
the difficulties of those short-term visits. But then, what are the other sort of key ways that students contribute to this amazing
Okay.
service?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, Unite for Sight organizes some online training for the students, and also give letters to them which they use to fundraise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so they raise funds for their trip, for their upkeep, and also raise funds to give to Unite for Sight to sponsor surgeries there. So that's how they support the students.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.